We've got some online friends here too. Hello, thanks so much for joining us here, whether it's live or in person. And if it's all right with everyone, I'm going to just start us off here and welcome everyone to our UUCD forum today. We are so lucky to have both Rosemary and Blanche here with us as UUCD Treasurer and President. And we're going to have a quarterly board update for a window into this quarter's budget and board forum. This is your opportunity to see what our budget looks like and get a feel for how our budget and board operate, and also ask any questions that you've got and express concerns. You name it, we're glad you're here. And for online attendees, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I will make sure to get to them when we get Q&A going here too. I know that Rosemary's got a lot of the slides here. Are you guys able to see this? Should I try to zoom in just a bit more? So, there we go. I'll do my best. All right, is that a little bit better? All right, the floor is yours, Rosemary. Thanks so much for joining us, both of you.
Probably a budget issue.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great segue. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Like I said, I am just giving you overall of the budget for the second quarter, which would be about September through December. And so I'll just get started. So I always organize it first a little verbally about our accomplishments. In October, we all had informational congregational meeting stating that we had a shortfall in our budget for the year in the category of pledges, which was $57,000. And that was just looking at the first quarter and realizing we had, if we had stayed the same, we would have started having trouble as the year went on. So we started a socket to the budget campaign, and that raised $44,000 in new pledges and one-time gifts.
Amazing.
And then the next thing that was a surprise, Church Mutual sent us a dividend check in December of $1,189. An update on our main endowment, it went from $161,966 to $170,644. Our youth fund did reduce a little bit. I'm having trouble going up on that. But some of that, it had a little reduction. But we know that's sometimes how the investments work in the larger world. And then we had several building maintenance expenses from October through December. The replacement door for the east end, where $1,800 was for just the cost of the door. Furnaces inspections and maintenance, $5,862.75. We had duct repair, $3,284. Replacement of carbon monoxide sensors in the garage, $6,600. Yeah, they really need to be replaced, obviously, because that's a very important thing to know how that air is down there. A variety of projects, $1,606. And we had an emergency repair on the garage exit door for $1,142. And then we have annual elevator inspections, $2,245. Oh, let's see. And again,
So that totals over $22,000 in either replacement things or regular inspections. It's important to know.
So the 2,200 inspection.
$22,000 total.
No.
The 20.
Elevator inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the inspection
Yep.
costs that we have every year.
Shoot,
Pardon?
Any questions so far?
I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So that $2,200 inspection might have included a repair part.
Or it might have included routine maintenance.
Got it.
Okay. And again, the elevator is as old as our building. So I don't know the details of that, but
Got it.
it's a non-negotiable.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So current, in process, or future planning activities, we got a letter from the Minnesota paid leave, and that cost is going to be 0.88% of gross pay per employee. So approximately $1,008 for the year, which we will make sure to.
He's doing stuff.
That's me, sorry. I'm just trying to change the channel. You go for it.
Which we will make sure to add to the budget, which is, we're meeting for the budget this Thursday to get that process started. Question?
I was just looking at budget and I wanted to put that.
Testing here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do two things at once.
So exciting. I'm just saying that on the budget line, it's like Social Security or others at Chalmers West where they split the employee pay staff and the employer pay staff. Is that, it's 0.88, but that's how it's set up by the state?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'll pass a few.
Yeah, no.
Okay, in my notes, that I recall, we're having the employees pay that for the first year.
It
And
is split. It is mandated to be split between the employer and the employee, and we are following the recommendation of the state.
We contracted with Star Power Electric to install a solar battery. Funds raised by future grants, endowment fund of $3,000, individual donations $26,540. The total cost is $47,355. This is was a separate campaign completely from the socket TUI as a driving force from the congregation. So this is just more letting you know that we have this is an exciting project, and it was desired, especially since we were losing grants, but we were able to get grants that were still viable for the year, and that's why we acted on this. And then so the future process now is to develop our upcoming budget. Anybody who's here or online that's part of a committee, please suggest to your people to submit your budgets by February 15th or February 12th, because that's when I'll start meeting, and we'd like to have those numbers so that we can plug in and know what your needs are. The first budget, again, will be starting on the first draft, I should say, will be starting on February 12th. And then I want to thank a lot of people that did all those projects that I mentioned as far as maintenance of the building. Peter, Jamar, Chuck for building maintenance work. I want to thank Beth for her work and research into the solar battery project. And thank you to everyone for all the pledges to the socket to the budget and throughout the year. You guys are very important. Without you, we would not be here in every way, shape, and form. So any questions or anything, comments?
Thank you to Rosemary too, no doubt.
Oh wait, one more thing. I do have another slide. Could you help me go with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, I have for the numbers, people and numbers. So I forgot that I went into my normal, usual thing, so.
There we go.
Okay,
So feel free when you want to. It's just two fingers.
2 fingers
Yeah,
up, okay.
just go up and down.
Okay. So for all your numbers and people, and I actually want to thank Elisa. She had developed this template to start out with when we had our informational congregational meeting. And so it shows in the first 2 columns are July 2024 and 2025 actuals, and then the budget that we planned. And then the actual of what has come in is the 3rd column, and then July 2025 through 2026 budget, which is what we're currently in. And then generally, because we're halfway through the year, we want to be close to that 50% mark. So in total income, just a guidance that we've listed all the types of income, or most all of them, in categories of where it's all coming from. And so then the actual income through December, 254,574. And so we're approximately at 58% of our budget with that number. And then I'll get to the expenses slide. And hopefully you can all see that well. And so that lists our fixed expenses, which would be minister and music director, support staff, administrative staff, utilities, building maintenance, ground maintenance. And that expense was about 188,562 ending in December. And so we're about 49%. And then the rest is committees like social justice, CHUM, caring committee, and then our UU fair share. And we had planned a little bit for sabbatical and our search regarding getting a permanent minister. And so that net income, or that expense, is $203,720. And then the net income and or deficit, if it was in parentheses, we're currently at a net income of 50,854. And those, so now we're ready for comments or questions.
Thank you very much for all this. This is hard work. I wonder, my brain didn't quite get all the stuff you talked about at first because you went by very quickly. You're a good speaker. Is that available in paper form or online?
Let's see.
Yeah, we can make a copy of that.
Yeah, we can
for
make
anybody
a
who
copy.
wants it.
You're talking about this part or my notes?
You talked about the first 10 minutes before you
Okay. Yeah, we can make some copies. I can go and do that. Or would you be willing?
If
I can, I'll just kick it.
And it won't be online per se. We'd rather have things be more active. But if you do have any questions, you can usually call Kathy Stinnett and she can give you more details as well if needed.
I have a question. Why is CHUM listed as a committee? I don't believe it's actually a committee with a budget.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Probably an error.
We do have a little budget. Well, I mean, it's not a committee, but it's, it's for the expenses for baking and the summer. So we usually have a budget of, $150. So I think there's no other place to stick it. I mean, put it, it's uncut.
So it's for Rhubarb Festival?
Rhubarb Fest, and then we have an obligation usually for a night out for CHUM. They ask us for that. So usually where it goes. Sometimes there may be another event where they ask us for money.
150, Giger. Paging Giger.
Paging it all, but there's an item, grounds maintenance, which in the first 6 months has not spent any money. Is this related to snow clearing and maintenance, not related to the outdoor sanctuary? Is that true?
Yes, that's correct. We haven't had a major expense or haven't been charged yet for any snow plowing that has.
I knew that part, but I want to make sure. Outdoor sanctuary doesn't seem to appear under committees nor under fixed expenses, so I'm just curious.
So when we do formulate the budget, outdoor sanctuary is part of that list of committees that we look at. This is this contains the detail, but very much more condensed down. Otherwise, you would see a major list of all our committees and all the work we do, their budgets and everything. So this is to give you totals of how much our work is there together and taken care of in the budget.
Right, we've talked through the years a lot about how much is too much when we share information in a meeting like this. But it's also true that anybody who's curious and wants to know more can arrange a time in the office to look at a personal Q&A time.
Right, or, yeah, so if you ever want to know more details, like I said, you can arrange a time in the office with Kathy Sinnott, or you can join our finance committee and be helpful in formulating this budget and know what all the workings behind things, and then you'll become one of my people that helps me answer questions.
Get to see the sausage getting.
That's great. Any other questions? One more?
We started the Arts Council, I think maybe 15 years ago. And always the message that I perceived was, I don't think we can do anything more. We can do what we're doing, but that's it, because we have such a tight budget. You may have noticed that things have expanded a bit with what we're doing, and we feel like we will put in for a budget this time around. And because you all have made it possible that funds are there, then perhaps we can grow and increase in our mission to the congregation. So I say thank you again for the good work, and praise be that we do have enough.
Thank all of you. It's all of you.
Yeah, it's all of us working together. Just a comment on not only here, but around like Minneapolis and everything. I'm hoping that all the community building, all the ways people are coming to help each other, have food, safety, you name it. I hope that continues and we just change society on its head to that direction where we're always knowing each other better and working more together.
Beautiful vision.
Thank you, Rosemary. We'll flip to the next slide. I'm Blanche, Ebert, for those of you who don't know me. I'm going to segue a little bit into a few other things that the board has been doing on behalf of the congregation. I've chosen to take our mission statements as a header for some of the content that I'm going to describe, both as a way to ground us all and to remind us all that the work we do, no matter what it is with our vision and our mission. So. You can see our Board of Trustees there. Our first mission statement is to care for each other. I chose to highlight 3 areas that focus mostly, thank you, on safety and security. The first one I list there is a security assessment for events at UUCD. I want to thank Amy and John Larson for creating this. And Kate. This is a security assessment that goes with an application for an event here. And it allows us to identify concerns like any potential threats, any protests that would be anticipated, or any opposition to a speaker or a topic that might occur at the event. And then these assessments are done 14 days at least or more before the event. It allows us then to have a deeper conversation if there are some potential yeses to those questions, to discern whether or not that topic is appropriate for our campus. So if there are a lot of security concerns, that prompts a deeper conversation. I want to stress that it's not applicable to our usual activities here like Buddhist group or the Shigan group that's already ongoing, but it allows us to have a more focused idea on one-time events when people want to rent our space, either members or non-members. The second thing there is the ICE and immigration enforcement policy. There was a event January 18th to discuss this policy. It is a policy that allows us to respond to an ICE event on our campus, either during the week or on a Sunday. I want to stress that this is a very unlikely event, but an important event if should it occur. We also have the nursery school in our campus. ICE did visit our nursery school site in Duluth, not ours. They have their own set of policies to deal with an ICE visit, but we need our own also process for that. So the policy is on a clipboard at the top of the ramp. Thank you to Sarah Guritz on the board for developing an incident report, and to John Larson and to the trustees. We had a meeting on a Monday night on a Zoom. We went through the policy, and from Saturday morning to Tuesday morning, we had a policy and process in place. So that was a very nimble and great effort. In the policy, there is a small event, a small portion for congregations should an ICE visit occur on our campus. You will see in pocket cards on the backs of chairs a small laminated sheet that's facing inward that describes what your rights are, what what the idea of a federal crime is in the event of an ICE event, and some suggestions of things that we can do as a community. These pocket cards will be in the center and on the west side of our sanctuary. They are not located in the narthex chairs, and they are not located on the east side of seating in our sanctuary. And the reason for that is many people are comforted by these cards, and some people are very distressed about them. And families with young children who might pick up a card and read it then forces a conversation within a family that they didn't necessarily sign on for. So, so there are pocket-free cards there. And then the last item is a safer congregations policy for RE, children, youth, and vulnerable adults. The focus here is to prevent abuse in RE and youth activities, and also with our vulnerable adults. It's a very extensive policy that moves us significantly forward in our sophistication and care. It outlines lots of procedures that should be done should there be any suspected abuse, and I think keeps us all safer. Our second mission statement is to search for truth and meaning. I chose to put the contract to call process here. This will be almost a year-long event within our congregation to discern whether or not we should offer a settled minister call to Amy. Amy's our contract minister, and she has a year and a half left on your contract? Ish, yeah. And so that will be the main descriptor. The UUA has a very specific process for this, and the main piece is a task force to lead this process. And I'm very grateful to the individuals listed here: Tim Wilson, Charlie Moore, Ann Burns, Jim Seitz, Sarah Guritz, and Kathy Peterson. Certainly a wide variety of experience, both new and older members, and lots of experience in different facets of our congregation together. They will be leading the process. They're forming this month. They were appointed by the board, and the timeline here is roughly February through November. It is a whole congregation process of discovery and discernment for the next chapter of our life together. So it includes discerning what our ministry should be going forward. And I encourage every member to be an active participant in this. There will be focus groups and other opportunities to dialogue together to describe what we might want to create together in our vision. And then it will result in a report and then a special congregational meeting and vote to consider extending a settled minister call to Amy. Have I put you all to sleep? No. Okay. Yes, Giger.
Did you say a little more about the timeline? I heard a year and I heard 6 months for the committee, February through November.
Yeah.
Now those other things, when are they supposed to happen?
Yep. So I have a detailed timeline for anybody that would like to look at it. And let me reference that right now to answer your question. So in February, the task force will be organizing. In March through April, the task force is going to be delivering a detailed plan to the board and to the minister. In May through July, the congregation will have a chance for informational meetings, dialogue, focus groups. There'll be a special sermon topic. That's both the task force and the congregation. In August and September, the task force summary is completed and will be shared with the board and the minister. So they'll have a recommendation and a summary of the information from our congregation. And then in October, that summary and recommendations will be presented to the congregation if it's been reviewed by the board and the minister. And then there'll be a special congregational meeting in November to vote. And so that allows both the congregation and Amy, if it is a fit and it is a yes, then we move forward from there. If it is a no, then it allows both our congregation and Amy to find other options for ministerial care, and that document can quickly be turned into a search committee document.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about contract to call? Okay. Thank you, Giger. To act for justice, I chose to put the program council here. We've talked about this last forum as well, but all of our climate action justice teams, affirming and welcoming, social justice teams function within the umbrella of program council. And we'd like to change the structure of program council after feedback from basically the key players in program council. In past, the vice president has been, by our bylaws, the person who leads program council. And while this is probably a good learning experience for the vice president, it does create a lot of churning every year. It also sometimes results in a vice president chairing program council who doesn't know much about or understand fully or be invested fully in program council. And so we chose to recommend that a lay leader and the vice president of the board will co-chair program council. The lay leader has no term limit, so they can have the continuity. They will also be a person who's got passion for program council, experience in program council, and wants to move ahead with that. So that will probably be a congregational vote. So I'm kind of putting that out now so it doesn't surprise people. I'll have to check with Allison Luderman from bylaws, but that was one recommendation. Also, there are over 30 committees, and those were grouped into 7 categories in 2024 when Russ Mattson was the VP and chair of the council. And so for effectiveness and clarity, we'd like to have the program council be a consistent group of representatives from those 7 areas. And that will comprise the council. There'll be a trustee liaison who will be a partner from the board, a partner with that representative. And anyone can come to program council at any time, but it's that group of 7 folks. We will be changing quarterly meetings from monthly meetings. So those of you who are sad about less meeting time, apologies to you. Already we have all the board liaisons in place, and we have 2 out of 7 council representatives for the functional areas already identified. So I'm going to pass around a clipboard. You didn't know you're being recruited today. For opportunities to be the volunteer representative for program council. If you are wondering what, when I need a pen,
Can we get one for you?
If you're wondering what comprises each area, those committees underneath each area are listed there for reference. So I hope you'll consider leading the congregation in this way. And the purpose of Program Council, we kind of looked at enhanced communication between groups, volunteer development that focuses on human engagement at UUCD. So the Opportunity Fair and any other volunteer activities will be owned by Program Council, by the people who actually do the volunteering. We want to have some project-based activity that reduces silo activity. And the Program Council will be tasked to just do regular analysis of what is working, what is not working within and between groups. And lastly, Program Council used to have a social aspect that was important. And so we'd like to celebrate and affirm the volunteer spirit at UUCD through some social pieces to that. And lastly, to celebrate the spirit of life, I've chosen to highlight here a space for youth. There's a national phenomenon of youth groups post-COVID that has changed the landscape for youth. When I was a teen, there were no sports events or practices or other school things on Saturday or Sunday. And everyone was expected to go to church, but raise your hand if when you were 16 you wanted to go to church. Oh, I'm kind of halfway there. Okay, so that hasn't changed, right? But there have been some other aspects of culture in America that make this even a little more challenging. The developmental stage for adolescents, of course, is choosing their own peers in their own space, free to be themselves. And changes in communicating, i.e. the internet, and also it coexists with the need for three-dimensional contact for community like we all have. And so this idea of radical hospitality, including a welcoming space for youth. And I thought about this concept quite a bit this last week. So we have the train table and the stuff for little kids. When I was a teen, I wouldn't be caught dead anywhere near that space. That's not a youth space. And when I come here, I see all of you who are my peers, right? We all kind of look alike. This space, I know you guys, this space seems welcoming to me, right? The RE program is kind of housed over there. They have a space for younger kids, you know, that Kate has done a wonderful job kind of populating. But we don't have a teen space, right? I don't think we really have that. So I think that's really a great opportunity to demonstrate that. And we were thinking about maybe this area here underneath the lights. It's where the beautiful plants are. It's not used a whole lot, but it may be a great space for teens and young adults. And I'm even thinking about kids. I shouldn't call them kids, but people in the first and second year of college who are away from home for the first time, right? Who would love to have a quiet, cool space where they can charge their phone and be themselves. And then programming, I think, would follow once we get a cohort of attending youth that the programming would respond to their needs, but we got to get them in the building. So yes.
Is that OWL program still going?
Yes.
Is the OWL program still going?
Yes.
Our whole lives?
Yes. Amy, what?
Oh, I was just asking you to repeat, but, yeah.
Yes, OWL program is still going. Mm-hmm. I think we're talking about kind of pulling people into the congregational life. You know, OWL is great, and it's a very specific program, and then once that program is done, it doesn't connect into our community. It's a finite thing, but it's a great program. Beth.
I'm just going to comment on it. I don't don't know, I guess maybe 7, 8 years ago, I was through Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, we had a grant to do youth development, and a wonderful woman who was going to come up and do a retreat. And I went around to a number of churches, and they did not have high school youth groups. Everyone dropped off in middle school and congregations. So I have a confirmation. So this is not an unusual challenge for congregations. It's just an age group that's really take a lot of something to do.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing that experience. I think that is really true. Thank you for that perspective.
So I was thinking, Trees Presley, pronouns she, hers. I'm thinking if you want to make that a teen space, maybe we should, next yard sale, we get some nice couch or the furniture, that isn't too inviting, except the trees. The trees are inviting.
Yeah,
but to make it more space.
Yes, I totally agree. Anybody remember beanbag chairs? Yeah, they're still a thing. Apparently, so I'm glad I'm not out of date on that. But yeah, some sort of space. I agree with you. Thank you. Any other comments? All right. I just have one more slide. We're doing great. Just a couple of things. The solar battery's already been covered, but I just wanted to say thank you again to Beth Tamminen. The building update, Rosemary also covered very, very well. I just want to highlight a couple of non-financial things. We do have a furnace that's cracked that needs replacement, but we're doing well. There has been some talk about not just now, but ongoing talk about lighting here in the social hall. And I've been informed that once the solar battery is online, which should be this spring, we will need completely updated electrical drawings. And Russ Mattson has kind of a line out, but that is a big project that will need to be updated there. There are volunteer opportunities in addition to the fabulous opportunity on the clipboard that you are looking at now. The tech team still would like to have a connector person, a tech coordinator person between tech and groups that want to host events here. Building and facilities could really use some volunteers in addition to the fabulous volunteers we already have, but a committee. And RE could use some teachers. So those are the things that come to mind that are opportunities. Coffee with the Board is switching to the 4th Sunday of the month after service because of potlucks on the 3rd Sunday, and we don't want to compete with that. But also, please feel free to sit down and chat. A couple of times people have said, oh, this is Coffee with the Board, and they literally go, oh. So we're not scary, and we won't. Yeah, we do. And so we want to have an opportunity to talk with congregants about anything that's on your mind, right? Every single month. So, and lastly, I just want to just highlight this quote by Ram Dass, which is a very simple but profound quote. We're all just walking each other home. This is a very stressful time to be a Minnesotan and to be an American. And I have felt walked home by this community every time I'm here. So I want to thank everyone for that. And that is why we do all the work we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blanche.
Thank you.
What a powerful way to call us into community here at the end. What other questions do people have for either the budget or the board update? I'll check online here too, just to make sure I didn't miss anyone.
Online attendees, feel free to put anything in the chat. I know we've got a good 7 friends at least here on.
All right, I see you, Tom and Sally.
Blanche, I just wanted to mention that this teen space idea sounds really good, but I think before we design it, we need to bring in some of our teens and talk to them about what they think would be good.
100%. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Again, the classic, we'll build it for you without any clue about what they really want. Yeah.
You want to give teenagers yeah.
Lava lamps, anyone?
And I was on the same subject with any ideas on how you get teenagers in here?
Introduce them to Maddie.
Right, I think growing one by like that, very organic. Like I'm here, my friends here, my friends here. I will say I've seen more younger people, what I would describe as younger people. Maybe they're in their 20s, but more younger people here than I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And I think this also takes a lot of time. This is not a 1 month or 2 months thing. This is, kind of, right, creating a wave that takes a lot of time.
I have one idea. I think in order to get them here, they need to be invited and ask what they want. Just even a written invitation or something like that. Because if we don't do something like that, they're not going to start to come.
Right.
Yeah.
Amy. Thank you, Sally.
I just want to speak briefly on the topic of, how to get young people in the building. And one of a key reason behind the idea of creating a space for youth is so that if somebody visits us, there is a obvious and visual space that we have made for young people to feel welcome. Yes, we can develop it after we have young people, when young people walk into the building, they see the training table, they see the cozy corner, they might see the RE board. If they don't see that we have intentionally made space for them, they won't come back. So there's a little bit of a build it and they will come attitude. So we want to begin a space that we can then develop. We won't be interviewing youth before we make the space. Because it's important to us that young people know that we've thought that we remember they exist.
Right.
Yeah.
But we could certainly, you're not saying we could modify that as people come, right?
Oh, for sure we will.
Once we get them here, we can engage them in helping make that space flourish.
Yes, and the second piece is a large part of drawing younger people into a community is making sure that we do not become transactional in that. This is not that congregation, but there are some congregations where it feels almost predatory, like young person, pounce on them, you have to stay, what can you give to our offering, Ministry with young people is never about this is going to build our budget, this is going to build our numbers. It's about what we can offer to them in their stage of life, where their spiritual growth needs to go, where their social justice work can be encouraged. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you for that.
I saw Sally's hand. Do you still have something?
I wonder, is the OWL program held here these days, or is it at Peace, or do they switch off? So
I think they switch off.
What was that question?
They switch off. Sorry.
Where is the OWL program being held? Here?
Always here.
Always
Always
here? Okay.
Oh, it is?
All right, thank
Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about, Sally.
It basically runs. Basically, it runs through the school year with breaks that correspond with school breaks, but it is always here in this building.
And I know I'm not
Okay. So, as I understand it, Peace Church is also involved with the OWL program. Are most of the students from here, or?
I don't know the breakdown, but in the years that I was facilitating, it's usually 1 or 2 students from here, and everybody, and all the rest are from mostly Peace, sometimes Pilgrim, and I think there might be one other UCC congregation that slips my mind, but that's the 3 congregations that I'm aware of, Peace, Pilgrim, and us. Right now it's meeting at 5 o'clock on Sundays, and it runs for an hour and a half.
Thank you.
Any other owl questions?
No, not owl, but I would comment a little historic history, which you could do, but we have had 2 spaces in this building that were dedicated to youth. First was one of the storeroom basements until a fire inspector came in and fell over. But you can still see a little paint around the door, in green paint in that storeroom too. Then we had the room that's now the office for the daycare use space, and what just wasn't being used much. But what I'm thinking, but what it did was, like, if people wanted to meet for owl, or if they wanted to come over in the evening, set something up, this was the space for them.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Sunday morning may be not very popular, but some evening activities or something may be what comes up. Sunday morning might be the last thing that
Right.
So, but I think when you.
But I also think too, if someone comes in this building for any reason and they look around, right?
Yeah.
In those times, those kids were coming as part of a family unit, and the fact that they were in a garage behind a cinder block, wall didn't matter so much. And David, you had that youth group in that group over there, and also but also, we knew they were there. So this is also a hospitality issue too.
So one last note from me before I go get ready for worship on the space for youth, and that is, it feels like there's a lot of energy and ideas and enthusiasm, and Kate would welcome you on the RE leadership team. Thank you.
Thank you very much.